The Baeksang Arts Awards are meant to honor the best of the best, but sometimes the results are honestly wild. Because how are there still K-drama actors delivering incredible, career-defining performances who still haven't taken home the trophy? It doesn't make sense, and we need to talk about it. So here are 10 K-drama actors who absolutely deserve a Baeksang, but somehow still haven't won one. Let's get into it. Number 10. Yeon-seok.
그런 건 없죠. 근데 진짜 살아있어요.
그걸 어떻게 믿어?
죽이려고 했는데 갑자기 그러더라고.
And honestly, this one is frustrating. Because it's not like the Baeksang Arts Awards don't know he exists. They do. He's been nominated multiple times. The talent is recognized, the trophy just keeps going to someone else. Now, the role that should have brought home the trophy? It has to be Mr. Sunshine. As Gu Dong-mai, Yeon-seok delivered something haunting. Dong-mai was violent, cold, and dangerous, but also broken, loyal, and deeply human. In the wrong hands, he could have been just another tragic bad boy. Instead, Yeon-seok made him unforgettable. Every glance felt heavy, every silence said something. He didn't need long monologues. You understood Dong-mai through his eyes alone. He earned a Best Supporting Actor television nomination at the 55th Baeksang in 2019, but the win went to Kim Byung-chul for Ski-wi Castle. Then there's the second nomination, A Bloody Lucky Day, where he reminded everyone just how terrifying his range can be. As Hyuk-soo, he turned a simple taxi ride into pure tension, barely raising his voice, yet completely controlling the scene. That's what made it so chilling. As the villain, he didn't overplay it. He held back, and somehow made it worse. He was nominated for Best Actor, television at the 60th Baeksang in 2024. But Nam Gung-min took the win for My Dearest. The industry respects him, the audience remembers him, but he still hasn't bagged that win that he deserves. And the truth is, he's had countless great projects in his resume that didn't even get nominations. At this point, Yeon-seok doesn't just feel overlooked, he feels overdue. Number 9. Kim So-hyun.
포기해, 고사부.
저를 죽이셔야 끝납니다.
그러고 싶지 않아.
예, 그럼 제가 끝내겠습니다.
This one is honestly wild because this gifted actress is only in her 20s, but her career already feels longer than some actors twice her age. Most people her age are still figuring out their first job. Kim So-hyun has been carrying entire dramas since she could read a script. She started as a child actress, grew up in front of the public, and somehow kept proving herself at every stage. Now, the role that should have won her the trophy was River Where the Moon Rises. She carried the story as Princess Pyeonggang, a woman raised as a warrior, caught between identity, duty, and revenge. It was physical, emotional, and demanding. And she did it while the drama itself was going through a very public production crisis, including a major male lead replacement midway through airing. That could have easily thrown the whole show off balance, but Kim So-hyun stayed steady. She became the anchor. She literally reshot scenes for free out of love for the project. That's not just acting, that's devotion. She was nominated for Best Actress, television at the 57th Baeksang Arts Awards in 2021, and notably became the youngest nominee ever in that category. But the win went to Kim So-hyun for The Penthouse, War in Life. And here are the roles that should have gotten her nominated way earlier, long before River. She was unforgettable as the younger version of the female lead in The Moon Embracing the Sun and Missing You. The jealousy, grief, and heartbreak she showed at such a young age already felt sharper than what many adult actors could do. Then came Who Are You? School 2015, where she played twin sisters with completely different energies, one quiet and bullied, the other colder and stronger, and made both feel emotionally distinct. For someone who has been on screen since childhood, Kim So-hyun has nothing left to prove. The only thing missing is the Baeksang catching up. Number 8. Ji-sung.
뭐 어쨌든 지금부턴 안요나의 세상이야.
This one feels personal. In 2026, this seasoned actor is nominated once again for Best Actor for The Judge Returns. And yet, as of right now, he still hasn't won a Baeksang Arts Award. Now, the role that should have made him impossible to ignore, the one that should have won, was Kill Me, Heal Me. Ji-sung didn't just play one character, He played a man living with multiple identities, each with a completely different voice, posture, and emotional scar. And somehow, it never felt like a gimmick. Every personality was distinct, but you could still feel the same broken core underneath. 7 characters, 1 body. And he made every single one feel real. The comedy worked, the tragedy worked, the romance worked. There's a reason people still talk about that performance years later. He was nominated for Best Actor, television at the 51st Baeksang in 2015. But the award went to Lee Sung-min for Misaeng, Incomplete Life. And here are the roles that should have gotten him nominated again, but never did. The Devil Judge, where he switched gears completely. Charismatic, unpredictable, and morally impossible to pin down. One moment he felt like a hero, the next like someone you shouldn't trust at all. And now, with The Judge Returns, Baeksang has finally placed him back in the Best Actor race, alongside heavy hitters like Ryu Sung-ryong, Lee Jun-ho, Park Jin-young, and Hyun Bin. So this May 8th, we'll see if he finally takes it home. But right now, it's honestly hard to believe that Ji-sung still hasn't won even once. Number 7, Kim Ji-won.
난 한 번은 채워주고 싶어. 그러니까 날 추앙해요.
Yes, it's actually kind of wild that the Kim Ji-won still hasn't won a Baeksang Arts Award. She's been in some of the biggest, most talked about K-dramas of the last decade, and yet, nothing on that shelf. Now, the role that really should have put her over the line, the one that should have brought home the trophy, was My Liberation Notes. As Yeon Mi-jung, she did something incredibly hard. She made silence feel loud. Mi-jung wasn't flashy. She was quiet, exhausted, lonely, the kind of character who looks fine on the outside, but is slowly fading inside. And Kim Ji-won made every tiny moment count. A glance, a pause, even just staring out a window. Somehow, it all felt heavy and real. That kind of acting doesn't demand attention. It trusts you to feel it. She was nominated for Best Actress, television at the 59th Baeksang in 2023, alongside her co-star Sun Suk-koo, but the win went to Song Hye-kyo for The Glory. And here's the role that should have earned her another nomination, but somehow didn't. Queen of Tears. As Hong Hye-in, she could have easily played it one note, cold, sharp, intimidating, but episode by episode, she peeled that image back. Hye-in wasn't just distant, she was scared, proud, and painfully lonely. Sometimes the emotion was just in her eyes. Sometimes it was in the way her voice softened for a split second before she put her walls back up. She made the character unforgettable, and somehow she wasn't even nominated. After leading one of the biggest global K-drama hits of the year, she still walked away empty-handed. At this point, it doesn't just feel overdue, it feels like something that needs to change as soon as possible. Number 6. Lee Ji-hoon.
그래 어떻게 하냐 로마인이 아닌데 아 이건 안다 여긴 니네 집이 아니라 우리 집이라는 거 그러니까 그만 좀 댕댕거리고 니네 집으로 가줄래?
I know this sounds unbelievable, but I checked, and yes, Lee Ji-hoon still hasn't won a Baeksang Arts Award. And that's wild, especially when you look at his track record. He's one of those actors who doesn't just pick popular projects, he picks meaningful ones. Crime thrillers, healing stories, action series, roles with real weight. Now, here's the role that should have at least gotten him nominated, and somehow didn't. Signal. As Park Hae-young, he played a criminal profiler connected to the past through a mysterious walkie-talkie. It sounds like a sci-fi hook, but Lee Ji-hoon grounded it in pure emotion. Hae-young wasn't just intelligent, he was deeply wounded, carrying trauma like armor. That emotional core is what made Signal one of the most respected Korean crime dramas ever. And here's the crazy part. Signal won Best Drama and Best Screenplay at the 52nd Baeksang in 2016, with co-star Kim Hye-sun nominated for Best Actress. But Lee Ji-hoon didn't even get a Best Actor nomination. The award that year went to Je-eun for Six Flying Dragons. Imagine leading a Best Drama winner and not even being in the acting lineup. And here are the other roles that should have put him in the conversation. First, Move to Heaven, where he showed a completely different side. As a former underground fighter turned reluctant, guardian, he didn't suddenly become soft or perfect. He played the awkwardness of learning how to care, the guilt, the grief, the quiet, growing love. It was emotional without ever feeling forced. And then there's Taxi Driver, now 3 seasons deep. Season after season, he keeps finding new layers for Kim Do-gi. One moment he's cold and dangerous, the next he's in a full disguise pulling off something unexpected. But underneath it all, he never loses the character's core, a man shaped by trauma and driven by justice. 3 seasons in, and it still feels fresh. Signal proved his intensity. Move to Heaven proved his heart. Taxi Driver proved his range, again and again. And the Baeksang trophy, still nowhere in sight. Number 5, IU. Or should we say, Lee Ji-eun, the actress. Because at this point, calling her the singer who acts just doesn't make sense anymore.
그래, 내가 왜 나만 독박 써? 왜 나만 대학이야? 왜 나만 반란까지인데? 다 텄어 다. 뭐 대학? 시인? 다 똥이다 똥.
She's outacted half the industry, and honestly, the conversation should have shifted a long time ago. To be fair, she did win Best Actress at the 2025 Blue Dragon Series Awards for When Life Gives You Tangerines. That one mattered. It proved her performance wasn't just loved by fans, it was respected by critics too. But somehow, that makes the Baeksang situation even more confusing. Now, the role that absolutely should have brought home the Baeksang trophy was that same drama, When Life Gives You Tangerines. At the 61st Baeksang in 2025, IU was nominated for Best Actress, Television, but the award went to Kim Tae-ri for Jonghyun, The Star is Born. And yes, Kim Tae-ri is incredible, but still, IU walking away without that trophy hurt. She took on a dual role, playing both young Hye-sun and her daughter Gyum-myung, and made the 2 characters feel completely distinct. Different voices, different mannerisms, different ways of crying. She even said in interviews that she distinguished them through their hairstyles, skin tones, and the way they spoke. The mother-daughter scenes hit so hard precisely because she made them feel like 2 real, separate women, even though it was the same actress on screen. It's a difficult performance, and she handled it with so much control. Beautiful, tear-jerking, and quietly devastating. And what makes it sting even more? The drama itself won. Best Drama, plus supporting wins for Choi Dae-hoon and Yeom Hee-ran. The whole cast got recognized, except the one carrying the emotional center. Number 4, Ji Chang-wook.
증거 내가 계속 얘기했잖아. 왜? 니네 씨발 니들이 경찰이면 다야? 아! 내가 여기서 나가면 니들 가만 안 둬. 씨발.
Forget winning for a second. How is he still being left out of the nominations? Ji Chang-wook fans have been holding the line for years now. And honestly, that kind of loyalty deserves hazard pay. In 2026, fans were stunned again when he wasn't nominated for The Manipulated. As Park Tae-jung, an ordinary man whose life unravels after being falsely accused of a serious crime, he went all in. The kind of performance where you can feel the weight of every breakdown, every moment of desperation, and somehow, still no recognition. And here are the roles that should have gotten him into the Baeksang race years ago. First, Healer, the drama that helped define the modern action romance Kdrama. As Seo Jung-hoo, he wasn't just doing fight scenes and rooftop chases, he brought depth. Lonely, wounded, funny, human. It's one of those dramas people still recommend years later, and his performance is a huge reason why. But the one that should have actually pushed him into the winner's circle, the role that should have brought home the trophy, has to be the worst of evil. As Park Jun-mo, an undercover cop infiltrating a dangerous crime ring, this wasn't clean, heroic acting. This was messy, psychological. You could feel him slowly losing himself. The fear, the guilt, the exhaustion, the identity slipping the deeper he went. And here's where it gets frustrating. Reports surfaced that Ji Chang-wook's name actually appeared on a leaked version of the 60th Baeksang Arts Awards nomination list in 2024 for The Worst of Evil. But when the official list dropped, his name was gone. His co-star Wi Ha-jun was nominated, he wasn't. It felt like he got pulled out of the race at the last second. We almost had it, and he had a real chance to win. At this point, this has to change. He's one of those actors who never disappears from our screens. He's been carrying K-drama on his back for years. It's about time to give him the flowers he deserves. Number 3, So-hee.
난 그런 일 있으면 아빠한테 얘기를 하지.
어떻게 얘기해? 전화도 거슬고 어디서 뭘 하는지 하나도 모르는데. 이번엔 또 무슨 일인데? 왜 날 이렇게 만들어?
그게 아니야. 그런 게 아니고.
Han So-hee is one of those actresses people love to talk about. Her beauty, her image, her headlines. But sometimes all of that noise distracts from the fact that she can actually act. People treat this rising star like she's just a face. Meanwhile, she's been quietly turning in performances that actually deserve trophies. Now, the role that should have pushed her straight into the winner's circle was My Name. With this drama, Han So-hee completely changed the conversation around her. Before that, a lot of people knew her as the gorgeous, controversial other woman from the world of the married. But My Name proved she wasn't just a pretty face who could play a messy love triangle. This bold actress could carry a whole revenge drama on her back. As Yoon Ji-woo, she played a woman who loses her father and throws herself into a brutal world of crime, violence, and undercover deception. The role demanded physical commitment, rage, exhaustion, and a kind of dead-eyed survival instinct that had to build episode after episode. And she gave it everything. She didn't try to make Ji-woo glamorous. She let her look tired, wounded, messy, empty. She trained for months, did her own stunts, and walked away with just a nomination certificate. Han So-hee was nominated for Best Actress, Television at the 58th Baeksang Arts Awards in 2022, but Kim Tae-ri won for 25-21. And here's the role that started it all, the one that earned her her first nomination. That breakout performance in The World of the Married. This fearless K-drama actress could have easily been swallowed by the veteran cast. Instead, she held her own and made Yeon-seok more than just the other woman. The role earned her a Best New Actress, Television nomination at the 56th Baeksang Arts Awards in 2020, but the win went to Kim Da-mi for Itaewon Class. 2 nominations, 0 wins. At some point, recurring nominee has to turn into winner. Number 2, Park Bo-gum. This one's a bit tricky because Park Bo-gum has won at the Baeksang Arts Awards, just not the one that really counts here. He's taken home popularity awards, like Most Popular Actor, which, honestly, makes perfect sense. It's Park Bo-gum, but when it comes to the main acting prize, Best Actor, he still hasn't won. And that's what makes it so surprising. He's been a staple at Baeksang for years, even hosting the ceremony, yet he still hasn't taken home the top acting trophy on that same stage. Now, the first role that should have won him the trophy was Love in the Moonlight. As Crown Prince Lee Yong, this charming actor had to balance romance, comedy, youth, royal pressure, and emotional maturity all in one performance. He gave Lee Yong intelligence, loneliness, playfulness, and quiet authority. You believed him as someone young enough to fall deeply in love, but also burdened enough to understand the weight of the throne. Park Bo-gum was nominated for Best Actor, Television at the 53rd Baeksang Arts Awards in 2017. But Gong-yoo took home the win for Goblin, The Lonely and Great God. And here's the second role that absolutely should have sealed it, When Life Gives You Tangerines. As young Kwon-sik, this gifted K-drama actor gave one of his most mature performances yet. This wasn't just about being charming or handsome or sweet. Kwon-sik was quiet, devoted, steady, and emotionally grounded. The kind of character who could have easily faded into the background if the actor didn't know how to give stillness weight. He played love not as grand speeches, but as patience, as loyalty, as showing up again and again. Single-handedly raised the bar for husband material in K-drama and still got passed over. Park Bo-gum was nominated for Best Actor, Television at the 61st Baeksang Arts Awards in 2025, but Je-hoon won for The Trauma Code, Heroes on Call. Love in the Moonlight proved his leading man power. When Life Gives You Tangerines proved his maturity. And yet, Baeksang keeps circling Park Bo-gum without ever pulling the trigger. Number 1. Shin Hye-sun.
그러니까 제 말은 피해자가 없는데 이게 어떻게 사기예요? 이건 애초에 사건 자체가 성립될 수 없는 거 아닌가요?
This is one of the most versatile actresses working today, and she still doesn't have a Baeksang Arts Award. Win? Yeah, still hard to believe. Now, the role that should have locked it in, the one that should have brought home the trophy, was Mr. Queen. As Queen Kieran, she had one of the toughest roles in recent K-drama history, a Joseon queen possessed by the soul of a modern-day man. That setup could have easily gone over the top, but Shin Hye-sun made it brilliant. Her physical comedy was sharp, her timing fearless. The way she moved, reacted, panicked, flirted, it all felt so precise and alive. But what really made it work? She didn't lose the emotional core. Under all the chaos, she gave Kyoran vulnerability, intelligence, and real depth. Funny without being exaggerated, dramatic without being heavy, she made something absurd feel completely believable. She was nominated for Best Actress, Television at the 57th Baeksang in 2021, but the win went to Kim So-hyun for the Penthouse War in Life. And here are the other roles that proved she belonged in the conversation. First, Innocence, where she showed a totally different side, controlled, sharp, and emotionally intense as a lawyer defending her own mother. And even earlier, My Golden Life turned her into a household name. She carried that entire family drama with raw emotional honesty, earning a Best Actress, Television nomination at the 54th Baeksang in 2018, where Kim Nam-joo won for Misty. My Golden Life proved her breakout power, Mr. Queen proved her genius-level range. Innocence proved her dramatic authority, 3 completely different lanes, and still no Baeksang to show for it. Now, with a new nomination for The Art of Sarah, fans are watching closely. Maybe 2026 is finally the year Baeksang catches up. And that's our list. 10 K-drama actors who absolutely deserve a Baeksang Arts Awards, but somehow still haven't won. And to be clear, these actors have been recognized elsewhere. Blue Dragon Series Awards, APAN Star Awards, even the major network year-end awards. The respect is there, the trophies exist. It's just the Baeksang win that keeps slipping through. So now I want to hear from you. Who do you think Baeksang has overlooked the most? Drop your pick in the comments. I'm always reading. And before you go, click the next video to see this year's Baeksang nominees, and let's talk about who actually deserves to win.